Time to do a straw bale update. You're watching BrainStorm Acres. I'm Henry.
And I'm Irene.
And we just got back from a 6-week-long trip. Time to do a straw bale update. Now, we got home about 3 days ago, and there's quite a lot of damage in our garden. There was damage from squirrels, there was damage from rabbits, and we think there's damage from both mice and rats. I have a little bit of video about what happens with the rats. I'll show that later. In any case, we had our squash and cucumbers survive the experiment. Now, they didn't grow really big because they didn't get enough water, and more importantly, they didn't get the right amount of nutrition. Right. So they didn't get the right amount of fertilizer. So this bed is doing pretty well.
I've already given it a new hit of fertilizer since I got home, and it's already greening up. And since we got home, the cucumbers on here have more than doubled in size. So we should actually have some in another week or so.
Now, these plants are a lot smaller than they should be. On the other hand, when we were in Effingham, Illinois, I stopped at a farm-to-table restaurant that had a garden outside. And ironically enough, their squash plants were the same size as what we have right here, and that's not saying very much. We had a fair amount of probably rat damage on this plant right here. And if you look at the leaves have actually been chomped by something.
Right. Well, we never get this kind of stuff here because this is not vine borers or anything else. This is literally just a critter of some sort. I caught a rabbit in here this morning and ushered it out of the yard before the dog came out. This is typical of the kind of damage we've got in here, and sometimes you can get wind damage, but this is actually something that's cut a bunch of the stuff here. Fortunately, it looks like it's going to come back. This one doesn't currently have any blooms, but things like this cucumber are doing fine. That cucumber's like tripled since we got home because I immediately started watering, and you can see there's lots of new little fruits on there. The other squash over there doesn't have any fruit on it or anything yet, but all the cucumbers are doing great. So these guys will have fruit, you know, in a heartbeat here. This is a yellow squash. It lost its previous fruits to drying out. So I'm hoping that now that it's getting proper water and stuff like that, it'll start producing new foliage and whatnot. It was pretty badly chomped, but it's coming back.
Now, the good news here is what we're going to show you right now. We've been growing cantaloupe for more than 20 years. And this year, thanks to the Straw Bale Garden, it looks like we might actually get some.
This has got a whole stack of little bitty fruits on here. So we have hopes that even though the branches were chopped off, the new stuff that's coming on will pollinate properly and everything. Like I say, the big story of success on these bales is definitely the cucumbers, because the cucumbers have, although they're stunted plants, are now starting to produce heavily. And since they're getting the right amount of water and fertilizer, that looks great. Now we have one patty pan squash here.
This is a double yield cucumber that Rob at Sion Family Garden sent us.
Right, and it is just covered with blooms now. You can see the ends have been chopped off over here, but the new growth here is coming back great, and so we have great hopes for that too. So I would say cucumber-wise, we're doing pretty well.
Now, we think one of the problems here was that these drip emitters did not function correctly. They worked fine for the couple of weeks before we left, but they may have just plugged up from sediment or mineralization. or something else. We won't know until we do the evaluation. So we lost a lot of tomato plants, unfortunately, but it's not the end of the world. We still have some tomato plants that are doing okay in here that we think we'll be able to salvage. We're going to be doing some more videos about what's happened here this summer. We think there's a whole series of issues that occurred. One was watering not happening at the right time of day because we had some issues with our irrigation controller. Another one was rodents. We know there's mice, there was rats, there were squirrels, and in one area I think that we definitely had some rabbits get in.
Right.
Now, what we'll be doing is Irene's going to be doing a video about poo. Yes, poo. Because you can tell an awful lot about what's in your garden by looking at feces. Thank you very kindly.
Yeah, know the enemy or you don't know what you're looking for.
So this summer's experiment with the straw bale gardening, I think was a qualified success. We had a lot of plants survive. Really the difference between the tomato straw bale garden and the squash straw bale garden was the emitters on the end of the lines. The squash plants had a different kind of emitter at the end. The tomatoes had some that have not worked as well for us in the past as we'd like. On the other hand, we had a bunch of peppers survive in that bed that we didn't expect.
Right, yeah, because the peppers when we left home really didn't look very good. And honestly, that was what I expected to find dead when we got home. And with this one of the plants in there that's positively a monster and covered with fruit, and even the other two smaller plants both have quite a few pieces of fruit on them. So I actually need to check the varieties because I don't remember, and some of the labels have fallen off. But I have it written down. I have my map.
Well, one of the things we learned for next year, I guess we already knew it, but it hadn't been such an issue for us because we didn't have as many varieties of plants, is the plastic labels for plants in this high desert environment crumble unbelievably quickly. These were brand new labels. I hope you enjoyed this little tour of our straw bale gardens. There'll be some more coming. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe if you like what we've done here.
See you next time.
Bye.
Bye. Being attacked by bugs.